It's not an absolute game. No one can say if I do A, B, C, nothing will happen. One final point is wherever you can, if two-factor authentication is an option, make sure that's on. So certain practices that you need to do to make sure that you're vigilant online as well.
First of all, can you introduce yourself to us?
My name is Asela Waidyalankara and I'm a cybersecurity professional.
So, can you explain to us what cybersecurity is in simple terms?
Thank you. Very, very simply, we'll take the two words, cyber. Cyber is anything that is connected to the internet. Now, when we use the word anything, that could be a device, a laptop, a computer, any device. Right now, what we see is there are different kinds of devices. Your fridge could be connected to the internet. Your car could be connected to the internet. So anything that's connected to the internet, therefore, needs to be secured. And this is where the term cyber security comes in.
So, can you differentiate between viruses and something like maybe ransomware?
I would like to say a virus is a piece of code that's doing something it's not supposed to be doing. Now, there are variants of that. What you speak about in terms of ransomware is a variant of malware. Again, viruses, there's differentiation of what it does in a system, and then we have malware, we have trojans, we have worms, etc. So a subset of malware is ransomware. Ransomware is, again, the way I explain it is someone is holding your data hostage and demanding a ransom for them to release your data. It may be in your device. It may be your device, but the fact that you don't have access to your data, and perhaps because of that, if you're a company, you can't do your work. If you're an SME, you can't do your business. If you're an individual, you're completely, your assignment or whatever you have to do is completely gone. So that fear is what keeps people, either paying that ransom or doing something to quickly try to retrieve that data, because your data is the one that's kept hostage.
So, as an average user on the internet, what threats do I face usually?
Good question, because I'll give a little background to why you should be asking that. Because since COVID-19, we see a lot of people who are not familiar with the internet, who have come on the internet. The other side of the coin is we got kids, very young, who were, obviously their learning modes were disrupted and they had to switch to online learning. So these are two groups which I consider are very vulnerable, who are now online. What are the threats you can face? Very simply, you can get caught to online scams, where your personal information can be compromised, financial information can be compromised, your personal information could be exposed. But more importantly, because of the nature of cybercrime right now, there's a lot of stuff happening on phishing. Now, phishing is a digital con artist, as I like to say. It's someone portraying to be either an organization that's respectable or an individual that's respectable, telling you or asking you to do something which is quite normal under normal circumstances, but there's malicious stuff hidden. So, for example, it could be an email from your bank, but it's not actually your bank. We have now, not even from an email, we have personal messaging platforms, WhatsApp, Signal, Viber, that type of thing. And there are messages being circulated now. Click here to get free data. Click here, the Elephant House is giving free ice cream. Click here, certain grocery stores are giving offers. You should click that. And no one thinks twice about entering their details. But they don't realize it's perhaps because of that tiny action, their details are compromised. So it takes a lot of awareness to make sure that you identify what are the threats out there.
What kind of safeguards can I have for myself to protect protected from these threats?
For example, you wear a seat belt. Not because you're not, if you wear a seat belt that an accident won't happen. It's because you wear a seat belt, even if an accident does happen, the impact to you is less. So it's similar. There are certain actions we can take, and the term we use in our line of business is cyber hygiene. One is to have some sort of what we call endpoint protection. That is a virus guard, online safety application, that type of thing, anti-phishing application. So there are so many products out there that you can purchase just to make sure the device that you're using the internet on, it makes sure there's some level of protection. Secondly, you may want to use, depending on your privacy requirements, you may want to use something like a VPN to make yourself protected, especially if it's people who are working on certain fields like journalists or human rights defenders, etc. I would strongly advise them to use a VPN anyway. Thirdly, keeping simple things like keeping your software up to date. The fact is, behind the scenes, the software companies or the companies that are giving you these services are working very hard to close the bugs that they found in their code. If you have to create a password for something, make sure it's 8 characters. Make sure you choose something that's not obvious, your birthday, your pet's name, your mother's name. Information which you'll probably, if I look at your social media, if I can find that information, chances are that's not good for a password.
How do I identify an online scam?
So emails, sometimes, for example, if it's your bank asking you to do something which is out of the ordinary. Now, what you can do is, always, if you have a bank relationship manager or bank has a hotline, you can always call the bank and double check. Listen, I've got an email like this. You are requesting for me to do ABC. Have you sent me this email?
Right.
So doing that simple thing, taking that probably 2-3 minutes to verify that email might save you actually exposing your financial data. So that's one thing. Secondly, what you must understand is some of the scams that I've seen. Now this one here is a WhatsApp forward. You can see the 5,000 rupee note there. That's basically asking people to send the front and the back of their credit card to bankname@gmail.com and you're getting 5,000 rupees. Now, this came on WhatsApp. So the question you must ask yourself is, will a bank...
Will the bank send you a message on WhatsApp?
On WhatsApp, and will a bank utilize a forwarding mechanism or forward it to 10 friends or something like that to send you something like this? And secondly, because this is a scam that happened in Sri Lanka, I think it's important. Bank will never ask you to send something to a Gmail address or an address that's different to the bank's web address. But thirdly, you can unfortunately people got caught to this, but what you can do, again, pick up the phone, call the bank and ask, have you been doing something like this? Is there some offer like this? So if the bank says no, I think you've got your answer.
Most of these scams are either after our money or our information. So why would our information be important? Some people might be thinking, well, so what would you say to that?
It's vital people understand how valuable their data is. Because now, especially in this part of the world, there's no value for your data. And there's no understanding of the concept of privacy. Before we talk about online privacy or data privacy, people don't understand the concept of privacy sometimes. But what happens is in an online world where we are becoming increasingly digital, you are leaving behind a lot of data about yourself, about your behavior, your information, and all of that information mostly lies in cyberspace online. That information has a dollar value. Why is that important? Because the data that you leak or your information can be used to steal your identity. For example, if it's financial information, steal your money. If you don't realize why are all these people after me and my data, then you lost in the digital age.